Well, I tell you what, it feels like a long time since we actually did a YouTube video. Why is that? Because Kelly and I have been working our behinds off since COVID. We have been extremely fortunate that we're in a line of work where we have had business coming through. So look, we have, I suppose, been taking advantage of it because real estate can be very up and it can be very down. So we've been keeping ourselves very, very busy, and so we haven't had any downtime at all. But look, right now we've actually gone and sold all of our properties. We've just listed another one. But anyway, I'm not here to be telling you about real estate. I'm here to be telling you that we feel like we're on track actually now for having made a lot of decisions. So when we're traveling to open homes, when we're sitting in the car, or I don't know, just flicking through on YouTube, different vans come up, and we sort of think, well, what are we going to do? We're going to get a used one. Are we going to get one which has got 300 Ks on it and buy it for around that sort of 25,000? Well, we did see one. My gosh, we saw one. We loved it. We liked it. And we thought we were going to be able to get it for that. And then the bidding started, and it started going up and up. And what did it sell for? 42,000 with 300 and something Ks on it. That's where all the problems start happening with these vehicles. So anyway, after a lot of visiting of all different sorts and all different types of vehicles, we've now decided that, right, we just need to work damn harder again. We've rearranged everything, all our finances, all our goals, all our dates, all our everything, and we're on track that we're going to buy a new Mercedes 170 extended super high roof. And we had Barry very kindly take us for a drive in one. Didn't have the super roof, but my God, it did actually, and it handles really well. So this is a 2020. We haven't got it yet, but we've got it set up in our goals. There's no point going and buying these things if you haven't got the money to do it. So we will be cash buyers in doing this. We still have our goal, our plan to uplift ourselves, travel around the world, but we are going to stay here first because we've both got both our mamas here and we want to be able to see them. So we're going to travel all the way inside and out around New Zealand, and we want you to be part of it with us. And it seems to be a little bit of a trend worldwide now that people are doing this since COVID. It's made people rethink their lives and what they're doing. So anyway, today we are going to do what you call sort of a chicken chow mein, but it's actually going to be a tofu, pineapple, cashew nut chow mein is what we're doing. So I'm just going to start off right now of the tofu. I'll get this off here. A lovely fresh tofu that we get from our tofu man, minutes away. You can walk around there. So anyway, our tofu, it's this is medium sort of to soft tofu. Just break it up like this because I'm not really into where I need to make it look like chicken, but it's going to be fooling everybody if they were here having dinner, but it's only just me and Kelly eating it. Kelly's here, by the way. She's actually doing the videoing right now, but we've been out in the garden.
I'm being quiet today.
Yeah, she's been quiet because she's had sort of like this big hacksaw thing that she's been swinging with a big point on the end of it over her head, digging into, oh my gosh, that was another Airbnb.
Did you hear the ding?
Dling!
It's like a drug to us, the ding.
Dling!
That's 3 bookings today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that right? So some people say to us, how can you get so many bookings? Well, COVID cleaners, having it to perfection and having it perfect, Kelly does anyway. When she has that bathroom, she pulls the toilet off there and wiping, cleaning all underneath there. I mean, when I go and help, she's checking back to make sure that I've done it right, and if I haven't or I'm not doing it, she's instructing me to get it exactly as it should be. So we are what you call, well, when you come here, COVID cleaners. It's nice, isn't it? So we don't have the price super high. We have it quite medium, sort of below medium priced, so that you've always got.
Best to have it full, isn't it?
So what I've got here is I've broken it up and I've turned it down, so I've just turned up a wee bit more because I've got to get all the moisture actually out of the tofu. And I'm going to turn this off in a minute while I'm preparing the vegetables, but this is lemon pepper. You can get it anywhere. If you can get it in New Zealand, you can get it anywhere else in the world. Promise you on that. How are you all getting on and getting me some amino acids? Haven't heard from anybody. Forget about us. The other thing is this is the coriander and basil herbs. Once again, you just get it in the little boxes as such. Put a little bit of that in there as well. This is called a Louise and Kelly Chow Mein, by the way, as well. So it's not your standard, whatever they say on the recipes. I just make it up, and it's just got to be tasty is what it has to be. So there, if you sort of come a wee bit closer and have a look, that is, the moisture is already starting to sort of, you know, evaporate away. And so, as you all know about me carrying on about my new pan, this is my nice new pan. Yes, my birthday was back in August. Yes, I did have that in lockdown. It's life, isn't it? But plenty of others did too. So look, it just needs a nice wooden spoon of some sort. It's got to just sort of firm up. So those bits there are all going to turn into like little chickeny bits. So we'll leave those for a bit, and then we'll come back in a minute when I've cut up the vegetables. And tonight we're not having it with rice. We're actually going to have it with
Is that because we've run out of rice?
Of course it is.
And the budget doesn't allow for any more groceries until tomorrow.
Kelly's very happy with herself because she's taken over now, because there was about 2 months there where we weren't writing it down and checking it as such. Anyway, we've started it all back up again, and we've been really strict, and you'd be amazed actually on how you can save money in the way that we're going to do it. Kelly needs to write a book because she is amazing, incredible.
And we can help other people do it too. It's really easy.
It actually is. You've just got to commit to it, but you have to do a few things first of all, don't you? And that's basically going back last year and looking on your bank account and seeing what you spent on your groceries. Or
what you spend on everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even know where the money's going.
Well, we're quite shocked on really what it took us a year to be saving to go on a cruise, that we're, I don't know, how do we say this? We're actually saving that each month. It's a bit scary actually.
Can I just say, we've now decided on the layout for the van.
Oh yes. I think we sort of mentioned that actually last time.
No, I don't think it was this layout though.
No, that's not going to mean much for anybody though, but...
van door, couch, that's going to be the sink and the laundry. This is the cooking department. Going to do some videos there. Cupboard, this is a pull-out toilet. A drying room under there. Oh, and the fridge up here. Bed and garage. And we've also been out digging up the backyard because we've got to get the trees in. We've got to get this all planted so that we can get tenants in. I tell you what, you need 2 years to be able to organise everything. Oh, we've been putting things on Trade Me too.
Yep, Trade Me, oh my gosh, there's just all sorts of things where we've been, Kelly's been ringing up the insurance company, whether it be contents, whether it be house and cold insurance,
Phone
knocking
company.
that back. What was the other one?
The phone.
The phone, the mobile.
We were unnecessarily paying at 124 a month, and it's now down to 72 just for the same plan.
And guess what I did? 55 years of age, 1965 is when it was. Obviously when I was born, and my parents actually got out medical insurance. So they've always sort of said, keep your medical insurance
Until you want to buy a van.
until you want to buy a van. And so we've gotten rid of our medical insurance. Had a really good chat. No influence from Kelly whatsoever. She said, you just do whatever you want to do. But it's quite a big saving really. And that's money which is going to be going towards not just the van, but we are trying to not just buy a van and do it up inside. We're also, what we're doing is organising that we have at least 2 years tucked up our sleeve of where we're not working. Well, not having the income that we have now, but what we're going to be doing is just doing whatever we can do, whether it be in somebody's house for going and helping them with gardening as we're passing through somewhere, picking apples. I don't need to worry about me eating those apples because I can't eat apples, but anyway, picking apples, pine cones, whatever, still selling the odd things, maybe going to garage sales or antique stores. Pretty good actually. I was actually thinking that I had to stop, you know, but it's cooking up pretty good. The moisture's going out of there, not bad. You want to have the odd little...
And you leave the lid off?
Yeah, you do just leave it off.
Are you going to chop up the veggies now?
Yeah. So I'm probably going to let that just have a little bit more moisture out of that, because you want it reasonably firm in there to add into the chow mein. Rightio, we're just going to go on pause for a second while I go and chop up some more bits and pieces. And by the way, if any of you have any suggestions about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and especially if you're from Christchurch, New Zealand, please can you put something in the comments about any suggestions on what you think we should do, or who you could recommend who could help with doing van wiring or plumbing, upholstery, any of those sorts of things. You might yourself watching this do it. We'd love to hear from you. Fabulous. Well, okay, so as you can see, the tofu has all been done, and there's all different sort of sizes and little wee crumbly bits. You get that with chicken, don't you? So that has all been done now. So I'm just going to turn on the gas, not too high, because I don't want to make this too burny here, because I don't use oil, so there won't be any oil in here. Just let it heat up a little bit. What I've been doing is I've cut up all the vegetables over here. Look, basically what I do is I just use whatever's available that we have from in our garden, but it's also to the fact of what we have just left over from our groceries as such. I don't go out and specially buy something to just have it. So we had just recently done a fresh grocery shop, but we also had some nice leftover baby potatoes which had been wrapped up and put on the barbecue. So they're actually really nice. That's another thing I'll show you.
We're trying to do everything with gas, aren't we?
Because gas, yeah, because gas is what we're going to be using.
Because we're having an oven in the van. I think we're having an oven.
I'm trying to squeeze it in. I mean, what the heck are you supposed to do when you like pizza? And when you also, to the fact is we're about to, just while we're talking to you, we've got the oven on because we're going to be, all our nuts that we have, especially our walnuts on breakfast, we actually roast them. Just takes out a little bit of, I don't know, that sort of bittery, whatever stuff. There's something in there with nuts. You've got to soak them for 2 hours and 4 hours to take out the something. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Because if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Anyway,
does anyone know what we're talking about, full stop?
There will be people out there who are doing exactly what we're doing, or thinking about it, or wanting to do it.
Trying to get into a van.
So to start off with, because I said to you before, we didn't have any white rice, and we don't always use white rice. Sometimes we use black rice, brown rice. Because white rice, when you first use it, instantly turns into sugar, which I believe white rice and potatoes aren't any good if you're a diabetic. So there you go. But what I have also learnt is that with white rice, you cook it, but you don't have it straight away, and then you re-cook it the next day. Overnight, a lot of the sugar goes out of the rice. But don't quote me on that. That's just something that I thought that I had read.
You mean cook it in a rice cooker?
Yeah.
And then re-cook it the next day?
And then just sort of reheat it, or have it in the fridge for a couple of days. And it just, somehow the sugar goes out of it. Anyway, couscous, we do the same with that. See that sort of funny, looks like there's oil in there, but it's not, it's just water, and it's been soaking. There's 2 cups in there, and it's so easy in the rice cooker. Who would have known? 1 cup of couscous, 1 cup of water, and away you go, and it cooks even quicker than rice. So I'm about to put that in.
Just going to investigate what we have here. Shiitakes, mushrooms, onions, capsicum, courgette, carrot, red cabbage, spinach, out the garden, silver beet, big pansies and little pansies. Now, does that need to be turned down on the oven?
Yes. I'm always relying on you to be looking and watching what's going on.
Not like the last video when the Airbnb guest turned up and we forgot to turn the gas off and then we burnt the dinner.
2 cups of water because it's about to go rice cooker. Rightio. Okay, here goes. Actually, hold on a sec. I'm not really too worried about there being a
Bit
little
of tissue.
bit of
Bit of tissue.
Actually, I was really meaning a little bit of burnt
It's
in the,
really
in the
smoky.
food.
Alright.
So, let's get the onions in there to start off with. This is half an onion I've used here. Chop it up however you want, whatever your favourite way is. There's also out of our garden some celery in there. Hiding underneath there, here we go. Okay, let's give that a little bit of a stir around. We'll get some a little bit of garlic and ginger to go on there. We also, in our garden too, we have, my uncle gave us this plant, and it's called galanja, and I believe is it Thailand? I think it is in particular where they use that. It's quite a strong ginger. So Kelly got the, oh, I like it with all those little wee blacky burnt bits in there. They're not really burnt, but they're just, actually maybe they are burnt, but they give a bit of flavour. It smells really good. So there's no water or anything in there, just I'm using the moving that around in there and getting the flavours all mixing in together, the sugars as they say. Anyway, that galanja, I haven't got any de-thawed right now actually, but I've used that a lot of my cooking for the ginger. Because Kelly's put it through Oscar to juice it. So, let's get half a teaspoon of, what's this one here, garlic. Okay. Under a teaspoon of ginger. This is now where you actually add in some liquid stuff. Some leftover tea. My mum was here before, but she didn't drink her whole teapot. As she said, what sort of tea is that? She never knows what she's going to get around here. There's lemon and ginger and jasmine green tea. That's what that is. It's not stock or anything like that. Let's just turn it up slightly. And to thicken it up a little bit, I've got some other things which were in the fridge. We don't really use flour around here. It's not so much if we can help it, we just don't really use it much. Occasionally. Okay, so while they're just doing their thing there, I'm actually just going to cut up these shiitakes, like with the mushrooms. So it's just a handful of my hand size of mushrooms and shiitakes. They've been had some hot water poured on them, and they have all cooled down now. We'll use that shiitake juice as well. Just turn that feed on, so it's heated for the walnuts. Close it quick. Chew up, cut up. Gotta watch my fingers because I've just sharpened this knife. They have a nice flavour. These shiitakes, quite often instead of fish sauce, you can use these. And that juice which is in there is going to be used too. Okay, so they're all done now. So let's start getting some flavour in there on top of the ginger and garlic. I'm also, just while I'm waiting, I'm going to get the pineapple juice, tinned pineapple that was. Funny thing is I can't have fresh pineapple. I mean, I am fructose intolerant. A lot better than what I was like 10 years ago. It's still not perfect. So we had some leftover beans because I made some really gorgeously tasty beans the other day, but I ended up, because I can't use maple syrup, I ended up using, what's it called?
Molasses.
Molasses. Oh my god, my stomach just went like this. It's awful. Anyway, those are just some leftover beans that I have there, but look at that, sort of the sauce that it goes with it. That's what's going to thicken this up shortly. And a few wee beans in the background. Right, let's hop to it, shall we? Half a teaspoon of cumin in there. I really like, where is there? Turmeric, just in the wee bottle there. I really like using the colour in this for a good sprinkle, which is probably about half a teaspoon of turmeric in there. Just turn that down again. Give that all a good wee turn around in there. Tahini. Because it's got the boil in there, I'll just use about, what's that, tablespoon? Is that a tablespoon? Not a dessert spoon, tablespoon. Yeah, because the other one's bigger. So that has that's got the sesame seeds, is basically what that stuff is. Time to use a little bit of tea. Actually, that's just shiitake juice. If you don't have shiitakes and you don't like them, well, don't use them. Easy as that. Just use tea, or if you've got stock or whatever you've got in your fridge, whatever you're into, just use that. Turn that back up a bit more. Now it's time for putting in a little bit of salt. When you're very plant-based, it's very important to actually use miso because it's fermented. Did you know that? And it's got a salty sort of flavour. You can get sort of where it's got less salt in it too.
Just mixing it with a bit of water and into a paste and dipping carrot sticks and celery sticks into it's addictive, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Shannon, for that idea. So we've got quite a tasty sort of flavour going on there. It's like curry, doesn't it? It's not.
Is it going to be a thick dish or a thinner?
Probably a bit thinner, but you've got to always have it, what would you call it, a bit watery, I suppose. It's nothing like having some nice juice. How's our couscous is still going all right? Hasn't been that long. Okay, so I'm going to put some chilli in there. And I like our little bit of spice. Some lemon juice. You put as much chilli in or not that you want to. That's entirely up to you. Just a little bit of, probably a teaspoon of lemon juice in there. I'm getting reasonably thick in there. So now is the time to put carrots in first. That is actually the stalks from the silver beet. Potatoes in there. Let's just throw the whole lot in there. There's no point mucking around. It's all got to be cooked. So just before it gets too watery, get that all mixed in there, the flavours. Oh, the colours look great. Almost time to put the juice in there. Let's go with the thicker one. Pineapple one. Well, that pineapple doesn't seem to have much sort of flavour to it. Sometimes it's quite nice to have a bit of sweetness. Like we normally would use dates. But today I'm actually going to use currants. Another one for those who are fructose. You can't use many raisins or have many grapes and things in case you're wondering why your stomach's swelling up. But you can actually use currants, and the thing is currants can last way longer as well. They've got a really long shelf life. They go in our rice, they go in all sorts of places. Shiitake's in there. I'm going to look in the fridge and see if there's anything else which needs to be nipped in there. It's bound to be something else, but in the meantime let's get a bit of water going on that we were talking about before. Not water, tea, liquid. This is just about ready actually. How's our couscous not doing? No. Just for a little bit of a salty sort of flavour and everything in there. We've been actually using a lot less of this because we can't get it in New Zealand. And just sprinkle, squirt amino acids or soy sauce. Be careful on how much of that you use because you can over salt it. Depends on what you're into, how much salt you want. Just going to check out and see what else there is in our fridge. It turns into quite a bit of food. Like I only use half a carrot in there and half a courgette. But these are quick whip up sorts of foods as well. I'm going to have a wee taste of it in a second to see if it needs something else for a bit of balance.
I almost lost a bit there.
Did I?
Bit of courgette.
Is that right?
Just trying to get out the pan.
Oh, there you go.
Don't think you're getting away.
I reckon. Let's just turn that down again. Let's try a little bit of this. That's actually really good. That's going to be delicious on the couscous.
Hurry up, couscous.
What's that flavour up in there? Can't work out what it is. Something quite distinct in there. Right, I've almost forgot our tofu chickeny thingy in there. Let's get that in. Gosh, maybe my mother should have stayed for dinner.
She never knows what she's going to get around here.
Probably I shouldn't want to stay for dinner. It's got plenty of flavour. Ah, the garlic. I've got a good little taste of garlic. Just I was thinking, what is that one? Anyway, that now needs to have cashews on it. We're out of cashews. We only had a few. We go to the nut store.
Well, the shopping budget regenerates itself every Monday. Money Monday.
That's good. So there we go. There is something which ended up being quite a bit of food in there. That's enough for a family of 4, I'd say, especially if you're plant-based.
More, I reckon.
You reckon?
That's quite a big pan.
It is with the biggest one.
Plus, you could have the rice, you know.
rice with couscous as such. And then what we'll do is we'll just go and pause for a second, and what we'll do is we'll wait till that couscous is done. Or is it done? Not quite yet, it's getting there, and I'll show you what we put in there just so there's plenty of flavour as well. Okay, so just we're on that little break just then, found that just needs a little bit of a sweet taste to it, because most people would be just adding sugar to it, which I don't use sugar. So I've put 6 everyday dates. I haven't used Majul dates because Majul dates are a lot more expensive. So with our savings and everything we're doing at the moment, we've decided to use something which is a lot less. Like for example, you can get a decent bag full of them for $3.80 is what I got, next to probably $12 for half that amount. So anyway, that's the dates, is what I've got on there. I'm just going to put in half a banana, and then what am I? Let's use tea once again, some lemon and ginger tea. I want it to be reasonably water. I probably won't use all of that, so I'll just have that with some leftover. That in the Vitamix. Oops. Couscous is cooked as well, which is great. This Vitamix is so good, it tells you whether the top's on or not properly. And let's just mix it up like we would. See, it's not on, see that little thing there? It's quite good. If you're ever thinking of getting one of these, message me and ask me about what I think of it. It's still not tight enough. Yep, there we go, and play. Just the dates cutting up. Marvellous is what I say. Marvellous. Even coming up with my scissor machine back like that. What do you reckon? You know, Western one? I suggest that you don't even need one. Damn well need one of these. Or especially if you're going to holidays and reading. Soups and sauces and create things you've never even thought of. Almost done. Look at that. A nice little thickener of that chicken tofu enough of all that noise. So let's just show you what it's like, because it will be reasonably liquidy. Don't put it up round, if you're a female, like round your, out round there. Oh, it's out on the front of you. It smells sweet. That's what it looks like. Not bad. So let's just turn this, actually let's just leave that for a second. So the couscous is all ready to go. Oh, look at that. You is a good girl. Okay, so I just got some parsley out of the garden. We killed a lot of our parsley the other day because it had some sort of aphidy things on it, so I thought I'd go out there with apple cider vinegar and orange, and it all went yellow. Actually, I haven't got too many of those left, so I'm not going to use too many already of those. Nice. Kelly will be saying, no, can't have any just yet. Fry a lemon rind. And just behind me, just excuse me, our nuts that we were talking to you about a second ago. Oh my God, they are so blooming perfect. Look at that. So you have to have an oven, don't you, in a van to have things, little babies like this. Don't they look good? Just move them around a little bit. Oh, it's getting hot. Yes, Kelly, my hands are clean because I washed them just beforehand when we swish around. Look at that. They go on our breakfast. And what I love is when I eat one of those is they make that crunchy sound. Oh, very good. Right, back to you. juice. Nice little mix up. So fluffy, this stuff. It almost could be like mashed potatoes. Oh, I found some of that, actually that's like mashed potatoes, that stuff. I found some, this is with a very light coconut cream to put in here, just to add a little bit of, just because it was in there. So I add a little bit of that and a little bit of this. You always got to have plenty of sauce, don't you, when you have rice or couscous. Everything's still crispy in there because I turned it off. You can tell by the silver bake.
When you put the liquids in it, it gets everything up around the sides too, doesn't it?
So there we go.
Dish her up. Dish her up.
Sounds blooming good to me.